Hello, good evening. Thank you for having us here. I will talk shortly about our project. So I and Cosmin started traveling around Europe 6 years and a half ago. And we've been to 12 countries in Europe because I don't know if many of you know that Romania is a country in the European Union with the most citizens living abroad. And this is a very important subject for us Romanians because in Romania we have some social problems created by this migration. And I will talk about this economic migration that we encountered in the fields of Europe. Because in 4 of these countries that we visited in Europe, we covered the subject of seasonal workers, of Romanian migrants who work as seasonal workers. The first country we have covered this subject is Spain. 20 years ago, Romanians started to go to Spain to work in the strawberry fields. And what you can see here, the name of the worker is Vasilica. And Vasilica went to Spain for the first time almost 20 years ago, when Romania was not yet in the European Union. And at that point, the selection process for the Romanian workers were really humiliating. So the Spanish farmers were coming to Romania and they were selecting only women because they considered that the women are more efficient than men. They are shorter than men, and their back doesn't hurt that bad when they stay bent to pick the strawberries. And many of these women went to gynecologists. They had to wait in line to be checked in order not to be pregnant. And the stories that we heard are humiliating because they were semi-naked waiting in line. And what I want to talk, I know that you are here today to talk about food industry, but I will talk about the human costs of cultivating, of cropping the food of Europe, and about these individual stories, because also in Romania and abroad, the theme of seasonal workers is always about numbers, about politics, and never about humans. And the human cost of migration, the emotional cost for our society, for Romania, is that many of the people that you see here in Cosmin pictures are people who come from very poor communities in Romania, and are people who didn't necessarily wanted to go to work abroad, but they are forced to go to work abroad because of poverty and because of the lack of opportunities in Romania. And the stories of these women you see here in Spain are stories, this is Spain story, are stories of people that had little opportunities in Romania. Who you see here is Corina. Corina is 22 and a mother of 3. The first kid, she gave birth for the first kid when she was 16. And the reason why she went to work in Spain is because she wanted to have electricity. So the first year she could build a roof over the house where she is living in. Corina is Roma, and she's very discriminated in Romania, and she lives in a community at the margins of a village with no electricity, no access to running water. So she went to Spain. She doesn't need to, she was never in school. She doesn't know how to read and to write. So the problem with the stories of these people is that they are very vulnerable when they go to work in Europe. And she can't read a contract written in Spanish because she can't even read or write in Romanian. So this is impossible. So what we've met in the fields of Spain is that usually these workers work too many extra hours, too many that are not legal. In Spain, you are only allowed to have 2 extra hours in agriculture because it's a very hard work. And also, not all the days were on papers, because they are paid for all the days, but it's black money. It's not in the documents. And we also, the next pictures you are going to see are shot by Cosmin in Germany. And this is a case of exploitation that we've discovered in Germany. We went to a farm because we tried to make some contacts, and we tried to enter the German farms, but of course we needed the approval of the German farmers, and we were kicked out of the farm here. But we had a contact with this family just by pure luck before we were kicked out of the farm. Here are the dormitories of the workers. And a few days after we met them, they called us and they said, help, we were kicked out, and one of the workers was physically abused by the farmer. And it was just pure luck that we went there with a Romanian working for an NGO in Germany, and they went there and helped them and got a lawyer and put them in a hotel. The problem with these people, they are also illiterate, they are also Roma people from Romania. The problem with these people is that they are so vulnerable, and he is the boy that was physically abused by the farmer. And the problem with them is that when they are kicked out of a farm, they don't have a place to live. They don't just lose their job, they also lose their home. So in that case, in Germany, yes, they also didn't receive all the money they should receive. The contract wasn't good. Things that the NGO that hired the lawyer realized afterwards. And maybe the most important social problem that this kind of economic migration creates in Romania is the kids who grow up without their parents. So we have the second generation in Romania of children who grow up without their parents, and they are in the care of their relatives. And these kids are very vulnerable. There have been in Romania cases of sexual abuses with these children. We had very young children who killed themselves because their mothers went to work abroad. And also, I and Cosmin also documented a lot of stories in prisons and in juvenile centers. And in the juvenile centers, we met a lot of young people who grew up with their parents home alone. So this is a family that has in Romania 2 children in the care of the grandmother. And they are working in Germany for 7 years. When they went abroad for the first time, Oana, she was still feeding her young daughter, breastfeeding her young daughter. And the kids grow up without them because they work as seasonal workers, but they have temporary contracts, but actually they live in Germany 10 months a year. So their seasonal work is 10 months a year, because the German farmers prefer this kind of contract because they pay less taxes. And but this makes very hard for Romanian seasonal workers to bring their family to Germany because they can't rent a proper apartment with their temporary contracts. This is Denisa. She is 18. She is from a family with 7 kids. She is the only kid that went to high school and finished 12 grades, but she didn't take her final exam because she went to Germany to work in the fields. This is also a woman whose son grew up without her. Now he is an adult, but she lives with the shame and with the trauma and with the guilt that she wasn't there for him. This is England. We have been to England in 2021, immediately after Brexit. And here is a break. When the Romanian seasonal workers are resting. We didn't find in this farm, because of course we didn't do our research. We've been to some individual farms, and these are the realities we discovered there. But in this farm, we discovered the same identity problems, transnational families, trauma that lives with this family when they go to work in agriculture. This family, actually, in Romania, the young man is the son of the two. You see, the woman that's eating, and that's his father. He's in his 20s, and his parents are in their 40s. And actually, in Romania, there are small farmers. They have a melon farm, and they go to work in England in the autumn when they finish the season with the melons. And they come here to pick apples, because in Romania, small farmers can't live from what they grow. So this is their survival solution, to go to England to work. This is Belgium. This is a farm in Verlaine. And the ones that you see are also Roma Calderaș. I don't know if you have, it's a family that we follow, a Calderaș family we follow from a long time in Romania. We also made a documentary about some of them. And they come to work in Belgium as seasonal workers, because in Romania we have a lot of problems with systemic racism, and they don't have too much opportunities. Their contracts are also in the gray area, and they stay all day, as you see, kneeling and picking strawberries. Of course, they also can't take their kids with them, because here they live in caravans. This is the caravan where they live, and of course, it's not a place to bring your children. They hand wash, because they don't have a washing machine. These are the caravans on the outside, and this is how it looks after the work. Yeah, this is how it looks after the work, because they realize that their back hurts so bad when they stay bent all day, that they prefer to kneel and to, yeah. So if you have, I have a lot of stories, we have a lot of stories, but do we have time for questions?
Yes, we have time for questions.
Yes. If you want to ask anything.
Maybe, did you realize there was any control of these people? How are they hidden? Or, I mean, because it seems that everything is, let's say, in gray areas, so it's not really official. Probably they have also some laws that have, but if the control comes, do these people have to hide sometimes, or what do they do? I mean,
besides Germany, where I know that they have a lot of checks, and there are institutions that come to check, here in other countries we didn't hear about these checks. What I can tell you is that in Spain, for example, everything is very relaxed. So, for example, in Spain you are not allowed to work in agriculture on a Sunday, but you just walk through the fields in the Huelva province in the south of Spain, and you see workers everywhere. So I'm sure that it's with the consent of the authorities, because otherwise the strawberries need to be picked really fast, because otherwise they go bad. So they can't have a free Sunday, but probably I'm not sure what would be the solution. I don't know, a better payment on Sundays, or I don't know if... But I think that in some countries things are, that they are hidden, like Germany, where things are better. But in countries like Spain, authorities are more relaxed.
And you didn't talk to the owners of this farm?
Yes, we did. We didn't talk with the French one, because we didn't speak French, he didn't speak English, but we talked, for example, with the Spanish one, And he was actually, the Spanish farmer was very grateful to Romanians because he knew that his business wouldn't exist anymore without the Romanian workers. So he had a good relationship with the workers, and he didn't consider that it's a problem that they work so many extra hours because he was paying them. But he wasn't paying them legally because after the 2 hours that are legal in Spain to work extra in agriculture, the other was out of the books. Yeah, please.
Thank you very much. I was listening to you on national radio while driving here. It was very interesting. So my question is, you didn't have the chance to come to Slovenia to speak with Romanian workers here, as I understood. But did you, because you stayed up to 6 months in some countries, did you realize or maybe notice that the things are going on better? Is the situation staying the same? And if there are also some positive stories that are not all the big organizations which are producing food the same, if there are any other future?
We've documented these stories, which are very complex. I mean, there are also stories about abuses and trauma, but there are also stories of hope. Because a lot of these workers that went to work abroad, some of them were able to send their kids to university, for example, a chance that they wouldn't have otherwise if they continued to live in the same poverty. Or, for example, the young mother with 3 kids who could get electricity. I mean, those are in the same time stories of hope and stories of resilience that matter a lot.